We are live. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Here to give you what you need. Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Oh, we got a special one for you today. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Tell a friend to come on in. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Well. We're going to talk about it. No cameras. No need for the camera. Right? The word was first. It predated the flesh. We're not going to get caught up on images of visages. I want you to focus on the message. Don't get caught up on the messenger. Feel me? Look, it's not my choice whether to save this live or not. They clip my live. They won't even let me upload footage no more, okay? They stifling my shit. So, look, I'll show you, matter of fact. You know? It's not on me whether to save the lives or not. If it was up to me, every live would be saved. My lives get clipped in the middle of going live. So you got to save the lives. You got to screen record and things of that nature. Because, you know, my hottest lives, I do not have, I don't have them anymore. They've effectively clipped them. Okay? So please understand the way that this game goes. Right? Like I said, they won't even let me upload no more footage to my page. So I have to go live. I can't even communicate through the regular mediums. I just got out of shadow banning, goddammit. It don't look so good so far. I got demonetized already. Look, see? You see that? The shit won't even load. They're not even allowing me to load the video no more. I can't even get my footage up. And I'm only like one post in today. And they're already like, oh no. Not this nigga. Here he go. So, if you definitely want to keep a record of this, I would suggest you screen record it. All right? Because we're going to go in. And, yeah. Like I said, I'm demonetized. I never get paid for content. And I have to make the conscientious decision. Is either you go for the paper or you go for the truth. Because I can't speak truth and then expect to be monetized for my truth. It don't work like that on these platforms, especially with me. You feel me? I've been demonetized from YouTube from 2009. My niggas, I've never got paid off of a fucking video. And never will. Right? And this be the shit that I be talking about where people talking about, they try to, oh, you know, this person is going against the system or that. Look, nigga, cut it out, all right? Where's the bodies at? Where's the receipts? Stop telling me that somebody's going up against the system and shit. And you can't show me nothing. And talking points just don't cut the chase. That's not going up against the system. All right? The system is systematic. So where do we begin? Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Let's do a little back history on, let's do a little history lesson first and foremost, because this is going to be collegiate and strategic. I'm not even going to lose my cool on this because there's no need to. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just put it, I'm going to lay it on the wood and leave it for what it is, and you do the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You decipher. Right? You do whatever you got to do in terms of extracting whatever information that you need to come to your conclusions. Okay? Because more so than anything, what I do deserve to, or what I do owe you, what you guys deserve is a history lesson. Okay? Because I cannot, baby, come here, please. I gotta say this in front of my lady, my wife, because we had a whole live the other day about she said, and it happens like this in the community. When you have information, you can't present yourself like you're better than people who don't have information. Our community has a tendency to weaponize information, right? But if I say that I feel that you may not know the history of these individuals or the history of the Roman Catholic Church or the history of the things that I'm speaking about, that don't mean that I'm smarter than you or better than you. It just means that I have been studying this stuff for like 20-something years, and it can only be one Pope Pablo. So I can't even tell you how to do the shit that I do, and that's not me being self-aggrandizing, right? I can't. There can only one. There can only be one. She looking at.
There can only be one.
Pope Pablo.
Yeah, but there was like 4 of them.
No. There's never been a Pope Pablo. Cut it out. There's been 8 Pope Pauls.
There wasn't like a John Paul.
There's no Pablos, and that's not what I'm talking about.
So who was on the shirt?
That's Juan Pablo. That's John Paul II.
That means
there's no Pope Pablos. Yeah, no Pope Pablos. What I'm saying is that for the work, the shit that I'm able to do with this phone and this faculty of spiritual work that we do, I don't mean to intimidate nobody, but you got to be born again in order to do the shit that has been done, because it's just you can't even. You just, no. The niggas from New York couldn't do it. You can't teach this. You go from being a student to stepping into a faculty of a place where now you are creating the news that you report. That's not me being self-aggrandizing. I'm not talking down on people by saying that.
No, you're not self-aggrandizing by giving the information you've been studying for years. That's not self-aggrandizing at all. What can become self-aggrandizing is if you act like can't nobody else do that.
That's what I'm saying. Bring me ahead of a pope. Then we could talk. Then we could sit on the same board in the same panel, and it could be like,
he may not even be born yet.
He might not even be born yet,
what
right?
What if your son come and do the same thing? What you gonna tell him? Nah, you can't do that because I did that.
Yeah, you could come and do things
because it's only to be interpreted by me.
All right.
I interpreted it, but if
all
you
right.
understand it, you can use it.
So that's I'm gonna lay it on the board like that. How did I come into this level of information where I even had the audacity to think that I could move this, these different places and spaces in the spiritual realm? I was doing research into the number 44, and it took me to the Bible. I always wanted to know what was behind my name. My mother named me Paul. I had no idea why she would do such a thing, because she wasn't in the church. She was not religious. There's nothing religious about my mother, and my father's an atheist, hardcore, right? So I never even understood why they would give us a name like that. But my father's brother, his favorite brother, my uncle, is named Paul, and my father's brother is named Philip. So that's how we got those names, right? Based on uncles. But it just so happened that we got those names, and the name Paul means horses, and Philip is lover of horses. So she rolled the dice and came up with something that she ain't know. So I always was like, oh, that's spiritual, because yeah, and
she was like, what happened to the normal names like Peter?
in Jewish mysticism, the rabbi says that the mother is a mini prophetess. Right, and what the rabbi means when they say that the mother is a mini prophetess, it means that the mother, is able to listen and adhere to spirit and give a child a name, and the meaning of that name is not yet known to either the mother or the child. The child has been fashioned with that name, and then the child will come to know itself through time. And as the child perfects and knows itself and comes into the knowing of its name or the personification of its name, then they can look back and say, wow, mama got it right. She was a mini prophetess, right? She did not yet know, right? So when I started researching the number 44 and the name Paul in the Bible, I bumped into a hidden code that was hidden right there in the Bible. And the most telling piece of the code was that Paul started his mission in 44 AD in Antioch. So I was like, wow, so this dude Paul in the Bible is synonymous with the number 44. What a coinkydink. So I started going deeper. I went to Galatians 4:4. I went to Deuteronomy 4:44, right? And 4:44 Deuteronomy says that in this law, right? I'm paraphrasing, but the and y'all could Google this shit. Everything that I share with you is Googleable, right? But in so many words, it spoke about the law, you know. And I had already, thanks to my brother Cheyenne, when I started out with the 44 algorithm, I used to call it the rule of 44. And then I had got it right so many times. And around 2011, I think Cheyenne, my brother Manta from Marrakush Society, he was like, yo, that's a law, right? You haven't been wrong yet. It's not a hunch. It's not it's a law. So we started calling it the law of 44. And then Deuteronomy 4:44 says, this is the law Moses set before the Israelites, right? When you go to Galatians 4:4, right, it was something else. Hold on, let me see what Galatians 4:4. I think this is the crux of the Bible or the New Testament, speaking about Jesus. So, but when the fullness of time came, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law. So I just started cracking all of these codes, and I had already cracked the Bible code when I was incarcerated. Before I knew any of this information, I started teaching the Bible the same way that I do now as Pope Pablo. I take the day and I teach the fucking sermon from that place. And God damn it, God is my witness. I done cracked that goddamn code. Can't nobody tell me no different. And I did it the second time around since I've been doing 34 sermons in a row. Well, I did 33 in a row, and then I took a week off and I started back on the 34th. But I showed unanimously how it coincides that if you teach the Bible coinciding with the Gregorian calendar, taking point, tomorrow's January 1st. So we're going to teach all chapters dealing with 1-1. And I'm going to show you unanimously how to create a dead letter religion into a living testament. Ashe, amen, hallelujah. We did it, right? So I'm all up in this bitch, twisting and turning like the blue pill's supposed to do in the Matrix. When I became the personage of Pope Pablo, right? Again, I had already proven to myself that one, I already deciphered and decoded the Bible. Two, when I learned the 44, I found the codex and I figured out that Paul coded the entire Bible with the algorithm of 44. You can say what the fuck you want. And three, I decided to sacrifice this whole concept of the blue pill and this conscious community bullshit by becoming Pope Pablo and let niggas shoot their arrows and say what they want. I was like, okay, I'm going to kill myself and turn from Saul to Paul and go inside of this institution and destroy it from within, right? Using Kabbalistic sorcery and magic because that's what they're using on us. I had already caught the body of this nigga in 2013 by using Kabbalistic sorcery, word magic, and number magic when we used to decipher the Super Bowl. What? What the fuck is this nigga talking about? Oh my God. In 2013, February 2013, they played the Super Bowl, which was the San Francisco 49ers. And shout out to anybody in the chat who has been following Know the Ledge or KTL, right, from the beginning, especially during 2012, 2013, right? When I'm talking about this time period when we used to prophesize the outcomes of Super Bowl games using the 44 algorithm, and I haven't missed yet. Shout out to Sister Myra. I learned how to look at the games from the perspective that she laid down when she was speaking about looking at all sporting events from an astrological perspective. The only difference was that when I did it, I started looking at it inclusive of the number 44. All right. And it started with my preeminent prophecy was when the New York Giants beat the New England Patriots. Number 44, Amar Bradshaw, was turned around and pushed in the end zone, and he scored the running touchdown. And Eli Manning told him, "Don't run a touchdown," because they had to throw the game. That game was precipitated because they was using these sporting events for political gain, meaning that this was when Obama was running against John McCain. They played the game in Arizona, right? And the Patriots were supposed to win. All of this Patriot energy was coming in after 9/11 and the Patriot Act. Eli Manning told Amar Bradshaw, "Don't run the winning touchdown." He was supposed to stop himself. This is how they was throwing and rigging the games. According to him, he said something turned him around on the 1 yard line and put him in the touchdown zone. I had said at halftime that the number 44 play was going to win the game. Shout out to Noble and Pooh. We did a podcast and I made that prophecy during the halftime. And that's how pretty much the Super Bowl legend of the Lord 44 started. Okay? Anybody that was there can attest to this shit, and there's records of it because all of it exists on the internet. And I don't fucking tell lies. I ain't got no time to be sitting up here trying to motherfucking appear to be somebody that I'm not in front of you niggas. It's hard enough a time attempting to show you niggas who the fuck we are rather than lying about who we ain't. Motherfuckers ignore receipts, let alone some fake shit. I mean, they run to the fake shit, but they ignore the receipts. So I don't have time to be attempting to be somebody that I'm not. I have a hard enough time attempting to be who the fuck I am. Right? So the Super Bowl game, when Kaepernick was playing against Ray Lewis, I was the only person on the planet at that time using Kabbalah. Once again, I was able to decipher his numerical equivalency. Kaepernick was 876. And when I went to the concordance, right, we go to Strong's Concordance. This time I went to the Godwin's Kabbalistic Encyclopedia and I looked up the number 876 and it said the Prince of Peace and it said the game bird, the sacrificial game bird. They were playing the game against, San Francisco was playing against the Baltimore Ravens and they were playing in New Orleans. I said, oh, this is about to be a grand ritual because the San Franciscan 49ers represent the Franciscan order, right? Or the Jesuits, if you will, and the Baltimore Ravens represent the Moors. And then they're playing in New Orleans, which is where the Saints come marching in. New Orleans is itself a Catholic creation based on the church that exists, that sits right on the Mississippi called the St. Louis Cathedral, which is the oldest Catholic cathedral in this country and is the vestige of power of which they run the spell on this country. There's two places that it takes place. New Orleans and New York, right? St. Patrick's Cathedral and St. Louis Cathedral. They got more bodies and more relics of our people underneath the St. Louis Cathedral, of our people here, than they do in the Vatican, right? And it sits on spiritual holy land, and that's where the magic takes place. And by way of St. Louis Cathedral. Okay? So here they go playing the game in the home of Marie Laveau, and this nigga's supposed to be the sacrificial bird. So what did I tell people who were betting people? I said, yo, they're going to lose, but there's going to be a transformation of Kaepernick where he becomes a Christ-like messianic figure. Niggas called me crazy. Niggas called me crazy because in 2012, I was telling them this person who came out of nowhere named Kaepernick wearing number 7 was going to be a Christ-like figure back in 2012. Niggas called me crazy. I've been called crazy all my fucking life, so that's nothing. I was like, all right, we gonna watch and see. Cause y'all don't get it. Cause y'all are looking at what the fuck you looking at. You niggas is into sports. I'm into symbolism. So I know what I'm looking at. Not only did the 49ers lose, right? Not only did the halftime, or not only did the game get interrupted at 13 minutes and 22 seconds, and if you can't add 13 is 4 and 22 is 4, that's when the fucking stadium separated into black and white, right? Because that was when Gemini was in Jupiter, I believe. And the whole motif leading up to that game was black and white. Beyonce was doing the commercials as a referee in black and white. They had the black and white checkerboard. The whole shit was symbolic Masonic ritual. Kaepernick had a meteoric rise in the fourth quarter, right? When he brought the fucking team back, but he lost. The advertisement outside of the stadium, it was a Mercedes advertisement. They were saying, watch out for the fourth quarter. Now that stadium, that same stadium that they did the motherfucking Katrina rituals in 2005, now that stadium is the Caesar Stadium. Okay? And there's 44s all around that motherfucking stadium. I was just down there for Essence, nigga. I know what I'm talking about. And if you down there, you know what we talking about. The shit is littered by 44s. It's all over the place. But the meteoric rise of Kaepernick took place by way of that particular ritual. They lost to the Baltimore Ravens. Number 52, Ray Lewis, right? In Kabbalah, his name is Yahweh. That was a game that was highly rooted in both of them saying who's the more spiritual one or which one is more adherent to God. His mama, Kaepernick mama at the time, was a 44-year-old, this white lady who came out of nowhere looking for him. They had so many 44s. He ran 444 yards when he beat number 7 Mike Vick to get to them games. I mean, I covered this shit in its entirety. In its entirety. Made people a lot of money on that game, matter of fact. That's when we were selling our results. I made a fucking bankroll for that game. Kaepernick ends up becoming a messianic figure later on down the line. But before he did, because that game, I believe, was on February 3rd, if I'm not, if I remember it right. A few days after that, this nigga retires out of nowhere. Now, what was the results of the game? The biggest sporting event on the planet, right? Football is the new religion in this country because niggas go to the football games more than they go to church. So that's where you need to look at what's taking place. The Friskins, right, or the Jesuits, they lose to the Moors, Baltimore, in New Orleans, in this home of magic, where the Saints come marching in. And about 8 days later, this nigga gets a dream, Benedict, and he resigns as the Pope. Only to make way for the Jesuit Pope coming in named Saint Francis. Now, again, let's run mathematical odds here because niggas love talking shit. What's the odds of that? Mathematically, let's run the probability and the mathematics of this. Because the numbers don't lie. What's the mathematical probabilities of this shit? Because I cannot rationally make sense of any of this. Nor am I supposed to be up here sitting up here explaining a motherfucking thing to anybody. I'm just supposed to be doing my work. But because I love my people so much. And my lady said, give the people opportunities. Somebody might want to actually do some work rather than talking shit. I'm laying it out. What's the mathematical probabilities? That the San Francisco 49ers would lose a game to the Moors, the Baltimore Ravens, because not only is Baltimore, because Baltimore is a Catholic stronghold, right? That's one of the biggest ones right next to New Orleans. But the Ravens, that the symbol of the Ravens, Moors were known as many things around the world, and they had many symbols that identified them. The raven was one. The dark knight or the black knight was another, right? Remember Batman, Dark Knight, all that shit? Yeah, all of that. All of that raven energy, all of that deals with the Moors as motifs. Let's go back to Malevolent. The shit with Angelique Jolie, when she speaks about Moors in terms of nature. If you're in Europe, you know that when they also speak about Moors, they're going to speak about the land. Hence the fact my name is Moorland. So I know what the fuck these connections mean because I did the research. Huh? You better tell them. Right? When my baby say better tell them now, I'm really about to go in. You should be gassing me up. So, y'all not going to ignore these bars today. It's just not going to have them be on your neck all day because niggas had the nerve to tell me about some niggas who they said was exposing the elites. And I'm supposed to be like, okay, where's the bodies at then? What you mean? They had woke talking points? I mean, come on now. No disrespect, but come on. You can't motherfucking fix your face to tell me no shit like that. Make sure you tag all of them niggas in this, please. Get them in the building. I got something to say. And I watched the Piers Morgan interview yesterday, too. I know who these I have a better understanding of who them folks was that you was trying to tell me about. No disrespect. But you can't be serious. You can't be serious. You niggas can't be serious. And women, y'all is in trouble if these is the niggas that you think is gonna motherfucking ride in on some horses, on some Prince Charming shit and save the day in your name. Y'all is in trouble. Good luck. Anyway. So 8 days later, he said he has a premonition in his dream, right? He has a premonition in his dream that it was time for him to step down and resign from the post of the Pope. That had never been done in the history of poping, right? You have to die in the office of the Pope. You are elected to be there forever. You don't resign as the Pope. That never happened in 600 years. It was the first. It don't happen. You don't do that. He couldn't explain himself. He said it was a premonition that came from God that told him to resign himself and remove because you niggas lost to the Moors. Right? It was symbolism playing out, and they had to bring in the Jesuit, which is the army of Christ, who are the Crusaders. And they brought the nigga in and they gave him the name St. Francis on purpose. Right? Or Pope Francis, because he ain't a saint. Right? But they gave him the name Pope Francis on purpose because it ties into the narrative. Right? Nobody else is explaining these fucking narratives for it to make sense. You just looking at the news and it's going over your head. And again, I'm not taking no shots at nobody, and I'm not saying I'm better than nobody. This is just what we do, and it's what we have been doing for at least over 20 years in terms of these high-level observations. Right? But I'm not only the client, I'm the president. I didn't watch from afar, I got in the mix. I had the audacity to say, yo, let's make a difference by understanding what systems that they're using and beat them to the punch every single time. When I'm resonating and speaking about 44, you understand? That's hacking the matrix. When you figure out what is the motherfucking ties and the binds and the things that hold this reality together, and you find the algorithm, yeah, you could get inside of this matrix now and start twisting things around. When you beat them to the punch, they can no longer occupy that space. Two things can't occupy the space all at once. So every single time that I'm using that algorithm to expose who they are, what they do, I'm occupying that space. Every time that I bring it to light and use this fucking phone as a trestle board, if you will, or a Black Mirror scrying device, beat them to the punch. Okay? That's how this shit works. It's not just them niggas sitting up there and Google on YouTube doing the gematria talking about, oh, the Jesuits do this and the Jesuits. Nigga, what are you doing to them? How you banging back? You just utilizing this information for sporting bets? You're wasting your time. And the young melanated men that's following them, you're wasting your time too. Because they have bumped into something where it's like they're lifting the hood back and watching the dynamics of how creator actually creates. So that's some really profound shit that they have caught on to. But just to use it for to attribute everything to conspiracy, you taking all your power away. Just to use it to motherfucking get some money based on sports bets, you selling yourself short, nigga. You're selling yourself short. You could actually be getting up in there and moving things around and twisting things around and binding shit up and doing some things and tripping these motherfuckers up on the astral spiritual planes. This is where all of this stuff takes place anyway. It trickles down to the material. They're watching the coding of the creator and how the creator programs reality. That's what they have eavesdropped on. They lift the hood back and they're looking at that. And computers, what will be called a graphic user interface or a GUI, right? That's what we see on the surface. Like when you open your phone and you see the graphics, when you look behind that, it's all numbers and coding. All reality is based on numerical coding. And like even myself or you as a person, our flesh, it's a GUI, it's a graphic user interface that we're interfacing with. But behind that is cellular coding. It's all mathematical. So when you lift the curtain, when you pull the curtain back or you lift the hood up, you are now looking at the coding, the raw numbers. And you're getting in there, you can move numbers around like any coder can understand this language that I'm speaking to y'all. Any engineer can figure this shit out. It's not rocket science. But we're looking at it the wrong way and we're selling ourselves short, thinking that we're fucking being deep by telling me that some other niggas is... Anyway. But they're exposing the elite, son. You need to chill, man. These niggas is dangerous. Oh, really? Okay. Well, what are they doing? And nobody has been able to tell me yet. Oh, niggas got woke talking points? That's cute. All right. That's what you're falling for? That's what you're going for out here. It's the numerical frequency and the coding. Akibalan comes on the page and shows you that shit every day. He's a motherfucking prophet. He knows what he's doing. Right? If you're going to hold people up, hold the ones up that's actually doing the work, that are actually out here mixing this shit up, and protect them and support them. Not niggas just aggrandizing and telling you I got 30 fucking cars and you piece of shit. You niggas got your nuts in the sand and this is how you need to do it. Like, come on, that's what you out here following. That's what you out here holding up. For real, black man. Anyway, so let's go into the research of who Pope Benedict is. Coming from Bavaria, Germany, the home of the Illuminati, right? Where did he get his name and who is he channeling? He's channeling Benedict the Moor. Okay? That's who he's channeling. Same way that Pope Francis is channeling something that came prior to him. It's the same way because they assigned them names, right? So they can resonate during a particular frequency. Pope Benedict had to come around when the Moors was returning onto the scene post-Obama presidency and all of that shit. And that's what he was resonating on. Baby, bring me a square for this this thing, please. Matter of fact, I got it. I got it. I got it, baby. Thank you. And it's like I'm asking too much if I'm saying, yo, if a motherfucker's giving you relationship advice, have you ever seen them in a relationship? How dare you? What does that have to do with it? What's a person's relationship with their mother? You know what I'm saying? Because even Freud told you that that's going to lead to the psychological development of how a person sexualizes or goes to war. So it's like, have you niggas even done the basic knowledge to about how to psychoanalyze or look at a person so you can discern what you're looking at? And the niggas telling me that I'm crazy. Oh, son, that ain't got nothing to do with it. Man, look, women, pray for y'all. I pray for y'all. Benedict Moore was a Sicilian Franciscan friar who was venerated as a saint in the Catholic Church, born of enslaved Africans in San Fratello. He was freed at birth and became known for his charity. As a young man, he joined a Franciscan affiliated hermit group of which he became the leader. Okay? Yes. He was born on March 31st and he died on April 4th. He's a 4-4 resonator. Stop playing with me. We do too much motherfucking work for too motherfucking long to be disrespected by all these fucking newcomers who ain't put in the work. And can't show you a motherfucking receipt. And we putting our motherfucking lives on the line, coming out here showing you how we do work. Before you even go there, let's go back. Let's go back before we even get there. How motherfucking long have we been in the community doing the work to be this fucking respected for the work that we do? What has the conscious community done? What do y'all niggas do other than talk? Head after fucking head been rolling, but you got the nerve to be asking what niggas been doing. Right? The Blackmore, Swarthmore is an important international recognized area located in the Bavarian Rhone Mountains at the tri-point of the German state of Hesse and Bavaria. So here's the scoop, right? Bavaria, Germany is all fucking Moorish in its inception and its ancient roots because it goes back to what's called the Holy Roman Empire. Not the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire predates the Roman Empire and it's all Moorish. Hence the fact that when Hitler came and he was talking about ethnic cleansing and he had a reverence for melanated people and specifically he knew the fucking history. But he said we got to get these imposters out of here. Okay? What you think he was talking about? Who you think he was talking to? And he was clear to say, my beef ain't with y'all. Right? The Coburg Moor. The Coburg Moor. Okay? The Coburg Moor. I know the Coburgs might sound very fucking familiar to you, especially if you live in Europe. Who are the Coburgs, y'all? Huh? Who are the Coburgs? Saxe, Coburg, and Gotha. Let's get to it. Hold on. Before we fucking get to it, let's go back real quick. So I can show you the insignias of what this nigga represents. Right? In particular, he's not wearing it on this lapel, but he wears a lapel with the bear on it. The bear represents Coburg and Gotha. Out of Bavaria, he represents the insignia or the signs of the Moors that came from this area. This was a pseudo-Moorish pope. All right? It was a pseudo-Moorish pope. And once we figured that out, we was able to hack the matrix and work his ass over. Pause. Pause. So now let's go back to Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, or Saxe-Coburg-Gotha was an Ernestine Thuringian duchy ruled by a branch of the House of Wettin, consisting of territories in present-day states of Thuringia and Bavaria in Germany. Okay? In Germany. Right? In November 1918, Charles Edward, Duke of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, was forced to abdicate. In 1920, the northern part of the duchy, right, was merged with 6 other Thuringian free states to form the Free State of Thuringian, Saxe-Wiener, blah, 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 all that stupid shit. So, this all goes back, or all goes forward, should we say, to the monarch that sits in Britain right now, right? Meghan missed by a whole motherfucking mile. Somebody should have did the research and gave her the information that she needed to really shoot at these niggas rather than motherfucking stirring up a hornet's nest. Okay? The Duchy of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, these are Germanic tribes that are sitting up there in the motherfucking Westminster Hall in Britain, running the fucking show as if they're the bloodline, knowing the only way that they can sit in that seat is because they're tying themselves to a Moorish bloodline coming out of the Holy Roman Empire. And they got the nerve to say, oh, you know, they're banging on Meghan because she's a half-bred. She has no fucking idea of what she's involved with. And the people have no fucking idea of what they're involved with or what they're looking at. Right? The House of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha is a European royal house. It takes its name from its oldest domain, the Ernestine Duchy of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Its members later sat on the thrones of Belgium, Bulgaria, Portugal, and the United Kingdom and its dominions. That's who you underneath right now. Right? And the coronation of King Charles is coming up. This cocksucker is born on my birthday, right? And he's considered the paladin or the red dragon. And the Mayan glyph of our birthday is the red electric serpent, right? So you got to be mindful of what's taking place on a geopolitical, spiritual realm. Because this is the person that is sitting up there saying that once again, like the Pope, they are the divine, that he is ascribed to the divine right of rulership of kings based on a royal bloodline. These motherfuckers are saying that that bloodline goes back to Christ. Hence the fact that they have dominion over this planet. Right? That's the game that they're playing. That's the price that you pay from not knowing yourself. This shit goes deep. The eldest son of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, Edward, was created Prince of Wales almost immediately after his birth. At an age when many men are about to retire from work, Edward at least got the job of being king. He married Alexandria of Denmark and kept Europe at peace during his life. He was known as Edward the Peacemaker. He enjoyed fine food and horse racing. Okay? This is how the whole bloodline happened. If you're in the UK, shout out. You need to tag somebody so y'all can motherfucking understand what's happening right underneath your feet. Y'all need to send this to Andrew Tate afterward so he can really expose the elite, since that's what you're saying that these niggas do. Fuck out of here. So that's the lizard right there, coming from the bloodline that comes directly from the fucking Moors in Bavaria, Germany. Same place that the goddamn Illuminati comes from. Where you think they got the information from? right? What scrolls, what information you think they running around this planet playing like they fucking God? Huh? On November 20th, 1947, Elizabeth married Philip Mountbatten, the Duke of Edinburgh. They were in Kenya when King George VI died on February 6th, and Elizabeth succeeded to the throne. This was in 52. Her coronation on June the 2nd, 1953 was the first to be televised. This is when the goddamn spell started across the goddamn planet, utilizing the TV as a medium. And now the next coronation is taking place. Let's go to Google and see when the fuck is King Charles gonna be coronated. Okay? King Charles coronation. These are major events. If this is not your pay grade or your pedigree, you don't got nothing to be concerned with. But I'm speaking to people who consider themselves spiritual adepts, right? Workers of warfare on spiritual planes, right? This is something that you should be mindful of and concerned with to know how to intercede. It's taking place on May 6th, on a Saturday of 2023, right? Coronation of Charles III and Camilla. The coronation of Charles III and his wife Camilla as King and Queen of the United Kingdoms and the other Commonwealth realms will take place on Saturday, May 6th, 2023 at Westminster Abbey. King Charles was ascended to the throne on the 8th of September 2022 upon the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth the Lizard. Okay? So it's the same connection. When I came to talk about coronavirus in 2020, shout out once again to my brother Al Kebalon. He was the only fucking one who understood. Right? He was the only one who trusted it enough to say, nigga, even if you sound crazy, I'm going to ride with you. When we explained before C-19 hit, this shit was all about the children of the sun returning back to their glorious throne after the 400-year period of the curse of Ham was lifted in 2019, August 21st. Okay? What happens when they free the slaves? You experience a period of jubilee for 1 year, and then comes the coronation of the king. That's what's going on right now, that they are exemplifying in the biblical sense with goddamn King Charles and Camilla. Jubilee, of which includes the paying of debts, atonement, hence the fact that white folks was kissing melanated people's feet in all 2020 after George Floyd or Floyd George. I get the name mixed up. Y'all know that, no disrespect. But that whole Jubilee period, who was leading the Jubilee in 2020? Was it not Tory Lanez? Who had club quarantine on the fucking internet during 2020? Y'all not gonna do this to me. Y'all not gonna play stupid now. The niggas wanted to motherfucking wake me up and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Was Tory not keeping the Jubilee going? Was verses not popping off during 2020? It started before verses, yes. He jumped off the Jubilee, right? Daystar jumps off the Jubilee in 2020 as we're going through the Corona Rising. DJ, what's the nigga name? D-Nice. He jumped in, and then you have verses. So we went through a whole Jubilee period when the people were sat the fuck down so they can understand what the Jubilee is about. And white folks was kissing your feet and apologizing, and every corporation cut a check. Did they not? And they said that, look, this is our atonement for all of the past, and did the Pope not go and kiss the fucking feet of the Sudanese people? I got the article here. It says that all humanity came from Sudan. The article just came out the other day. The researchers have done the research, and they said that all humanity comes from the Sudan area, the cradle of civilization. Shout out to the Moreau and all of the other pyramids, the 144 ones down there. Niggas don't go there. They only go to Kemet to see them light-skinned niggas. They're going to stop playing with me on this last day of 2022. As we go into 23 in this God year, right? Let's talk about it so we could properly guard. And we could get this guarding thing under motherfucking cover. We're going to open up the new year on Monday with the motherfucking Pope lying in state. Right? Yeah. And Andrew Tate, they fight on a 44 card tonight. Infusion Live 44. Like I said, I went and did the knowledge. I'll speak about him later. I did the knowledge. He's a 44 resonator, right? Okay? This is how we're going to start the new year. This is how we're going to start the God year. I don't want to hear that this is not the new year, all right? There's a fiscal new year, which is Gregorian, tied into the fucking popes of Rome specifically. Keep that other shit over there. I understand what the astrological new year is. Nigga, you better have a celebration ready for it too. I can't stand the niggas that keep telling me what I already know that I've been here 20 fucking years talking about. I know. I got two hemispheres of my brain. I can entertain both of them at the same time. Let me cook, please. Okay? I know the difference. Thank you. Stop interrupting the Pope. This is how we're going to start this fiscal new year, this Gregorian new year, this Roman new year. Okay? We're going to start it seeing a motherfucking Pope lying in state. Okay? That's how we're going to see it. That's how we're going to start the new year. Giving you your power back. The Queen ain't here. The old Pope ain't here. And the next one will be gone within the next 90-day period. I promise you this. I promise you this. Okay? And then they're going to bring in another Pope. The next Pope that they bring is going to have to be African. Because they're going full spiritual warfare with the next Pope. They're mixing the African traditional systems with Catholicism. And it's going to they're taking the gloves off the next time. I'm telling you. I'm giving you the fucking forewarning, nigga. This is a Pope prophecy. Don't go against it. This is their last stand. And this is the one that they're going to take the motherfucking gloves off with. Right? And they are going to deputize the Africans over there to mix their spirituality with Catholicism and make this shit mutated. And they going all out. There's nothing left to hide. It's going to be full-blown magic, spiritual warfare taking place. And it's going to be in your face and they're not going to hide it no more. Okay? No, they're not trying to convert. Look, let me show you this video. Oh, man. Talking about niggas exposing the elites. All right. Okay. That was cute. That was cute, y'all. That was cute. You know, I laughed at it. It was cute. Yeah. They're going to mix it up. Might even be a Haitian Pope. Matter of fact, shit. Yeah, it might be a Haitian Pope this time. And whew, I wish I could really tell y'all some things that's going on in the backdrop, in the background. But understand, like, I don't fake got issues with these people. I'm just not ranting and raving like, ooh. I can't get into details. Can't get into details. But they not playing fair. And yeah, they not playing fair. You know what I'm saying? And I can't even. And when I'm talking to y'all, I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to them because they are very aware of these demonstrations. Right? This is not going over nobody's head other than the fucking people. Trust me when I tell you. And it's not being taken lightly either. Let's see. So there's a price to pay with this shit. Trying to inform people and wake them up to things that they can't even really do anything with at this point because they so late in the game. But we still here, teaching and preaching, attempting as best we can to save people from themselves. Because I wasn't born into this shit. I was born into this planet where it was fucked up. Right? But I wasn't born into the church. This should be y'all issue. Y'all got to figure this shit out. But here we go, putting in the work, and it's the thanks we get. That's why I'm like, can't nobody tell me nothing about love, especially coming out of this community. It don't exist. Right? Show me. Look, it's in front of your face this entire time, and you don't even call this shit for what it is. How can somebody love you that don't love themselves? How are you even capable of expressing that you love something or someone, and every fucking body got to do shadow work, and they traumatized, and they don't love themselves, and they got issues with their identity, but niggas is running around using a word like love. Like, it gives itself away, and you don't even, like, ask the right questions to unpack the bullshit. Love has to be founded and stand on the legs of trust. It has to stand on the legs of appreciation. Right? It's like the Godhead. You can't be God if you're not a man first. You feel me? And these niggas have not even proven to you what manning look like, but they gonna run around talking about their God. How, Sway? You gonna hurt yourself and everybody that's listening to you by playing with terms that you don't have no understanding or grasp of. And that's all we've been seeing time and time again in this community. You feel me? Bullshit.
Rastafari TV Network is curating and sharing our space.
Shout out to the Ross, them. But that's not the video I'm looking for. We're gonna get to that at some point. Yeah, shout out to the Ross who was the ones that stand up and to say, chant down Babylon and burn down Rome. Nobody else says that. Because niggas is in bed with it. And not even understanding the contradictions of the spirit, the religious systems that they're intertwined with. All of that shit is run out of the Vatican. All the monotheistic religious systems on this planet come out of the Vatican. Hence the fact, and nobody can fucking explain it. Why do these niggas wear yarmulkes? Why do these niggas wear yarmulkes? Can you explain it? Can you explain it? I'll wait. Can you explain it? Because again, I wasn't born into this shit. Y'all been around this shit forever and a day. And y'all been watching all of these contradictions, but can you still fucking explain this shit? I know. I have an understanding, right? Because I went and did the knowledge. But can you explain it to me? Why do these niggas have on yarmulkes? Crown chakra protection? Damn, you're breaking my heart. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Right? Don't do this to me. Nobody knows the shit that they're dealing with, that you have ascribed to, that you let your mama hang these pictures on the wall, that you got in your neighborhoods, that you fucking let your children around. But nobody knows this shit. That's why it's so dangerous to be talking like this, because nobody knows nothing. And I'm not talking down on them being, you know what I'm saying? But nobody knows the basics. And we up here talking fucking high science and sorcery and shit like that. And nobody even knows the foundational basics of this shit. So how crazy do that make us look? And you wonder why we unappreciated. Because nobody ever, they just don't fucking get it. I did 10,000 hours of research before I opened my motherfucking mouth and got on anybody's camera, on anybody's stage, and attempted to pretend like I knew something. 10,000 hours. To get up here and be ridiculed by people who don't fucking know anything based on the fact that they haven't done a research, and they like, nigga, that ain't right, that ain't true. Y'all know what y'all talking about. And then you bring receipts and everybody ignores them. I ain't make nobody list this year. And I bought the world Pope Pablo. And I ain't make a list. And it's the shit that we do in these communities. To one another. You feel me? Anyway. So, Pope Benedict was responsible for the beautification of Pope John Paul II. Okay? All right, because people keep saying crown chakra, crown chakra. So who remembers July 25th when the Pope went to Canada and they put the motherfucking head of feathers on him? Right? Who remembers when they put the head, when they decapitated the Pope in Canada and put the motherfucking, the big chief motherfucking, the crown of feathers on him? And I told you back then, I said it's a wrap for them because July 27th is the day at a time in the Mayan calendar. And I was like, all hell is about to break loose. I say, expect Atlantis to be rising. I didn't know that they was coming with the bullshit Black Panther 2 to show niggas in this particular realm in real time, the real war that's taking place against melanated African people and the indigenous American, Aboriginal Americans here. And you niggas is so motherfucking conflicted that you battling one another in the presence of Rome and they don't get no smoke, just like they showed you in the movie. And they get to sit back and laugh at you niggas. And ride off into the sunset with your fortune and laugh at you niggas. And you still fucking fighting. And you help him on the horse, and you help him with the motherfucking riches, and you smack that the ass of the donkey, and they ride off to the riches laughing at you stupid ass niggas. You gonna sit up here on social media digging at each other and fucking quarreling and fighting about whether you African or whether you indigenous, and you one and the same. And both of you niggas got wowed up by the fucking church. And nobody want to say, well, goddamn. Well, what role did Rome play with this? After all, didn't Pope Alexander VI issue the doctrine of discovery to fuck all of us? Bent all of us over? Why they don't get none of the blame? They showed you in the movie, goddammit. The nigga comes to the Mayan, and yeah, they depicted them wrong. Because you niggas is wrongly depicted. They're going to show you and you going to do wet with it again. Because you don't even want to see the African in yourself. Whether you here or not. Whether you was indigenously here for, where did you come from? Ultimately, our people transmigrated around this entire planet and populated it. Or vice versa. Right? Either way, you have no business banging on your bedroom and loosening up and letting the church ride off into the sunset and getting no smoke. Shame on you niggas. You're going to sit up here on social media in front of these ghoulish people and do that shit every single day, banging on one another, and nobody fixed their fucking face at one point this year. I ain't see nobody banging on the fucking Catholic Church. I don't hear nobody talking about the doctrine of discovery outside of a few of us in the Aboriginal indigenous community that speak about this is the only piece of international law that gives white supremacy its operating authority to do what it does around the planet. And until you attack that, you're spinning your wheels. Why you going to go for reparations and not put the goddamn church in it? Why you going to go for reparations and not put Belgium in it? Why you going to go for reparations and not put Spain in the conversation? What are you niggas doing? You feel me? And again, not talking down. I'm just saying, like, enough is enough is enough. If we're going to move into this period of time, we have to take advantage when the motherfucking, when they say the veil is the thinnest. That's now. You push them over the cliff. Bring me a body. Stop talking about, yo, this person is dangerous and they exposing the elite. Show me some bodies. Bring me some heads already. Topple some buildings. On the ethereal plane. Don't be out here doing that stupid shit. Don't become a fucking suicide bomber. The war is on higher planes against principalities, nigga. If you do not know how to do spiritual warfare, sit down somewhere. Right? I need help with my IG page. You could be my social media manager, but this is not your fight. Sit down, please. You could just hit the Cash App, right? Support in other ways. But don't get out here and get hurt. Because it's not physical. They're going to wow you up. So, Pope John was responsible for the beautification of Pope Benedict, was responsible for the beautification of Pope John II on May 1st, 2011. And it was unprecedented when he made Pope John Paul a saint, because it was never done in the fashion in which he did it. Pope John Paul had not been dead for long, and he did it with 4 other saints. That was a first time feat that they did. They never did it like that before. You know what I'm saying? They rushed him in, and they did it where they did a 4-for-1 deal. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm not going to get all the way into the history of Pope John Paul II, but you can go and watch a movie on Netflix called The Vatican Girl. You know what I'm saying? And you can see some of the controversies that was tied into what they call the pious pope. Just like they're trying to present Francis now like he's the apologizing pious pope, and he's tied to mad motherfucking covering up of sexual misconduct in the church with thousands of children. Right? Pope John Paul II was no different. right? And Pope John Paul II was responsible for funding a proxy war against Russia, right? He was responsible for funding a proxy war to bring down Russia. This is once again why Russia has beef with the Vatican today. All the way up until this very day, they banging on the Pope in Rome, right? Because they got their own Pope in the Eastern Orthodox Church. And that war that they fighting in Ukraine is a spiritual one. It's a religious war. That has been ordained by the Pope out of Russia. Kirill, I think his name is. They don't fuck with the one in Rome. And all of this all goes back to when the Pope splintered the Eastern Orthodox and all of this shit, going back into the European Moorish ties. This is what World War I was about. This is what World War II was about. And you would not know it because this is not how they teach this information. World War I was about the last vestiges of the Moorish Empire by way of the Ottoman Empire and the Archbishop of Canterbury, right? It always comes back to these fucking churches. And World War III will be no difference. Hence the fact that Pope Francis on Christmas said what? Oh, we've been in World War III already. It's not coming. He's like, it's here. But y'all don't understand what these people is talking about. But I keep asking you, tell me what these niggas who you telling me is exposing the elite is teaching you about this motherfucking information. Right? Now how to put a fucking girl in check. Where's the deep shit you keep telling me about, my niggas? Grown ass niggas following little boys? Please, somebody help me out. Because I was digging all through the motherfucking internet. I couldn't find what y'all niggas keep telling me. I found some other shit, but that can't be it. I'm like, you can't be serious. This is what y'all was trying to tell me? These are niggas that y'all listening to? So yes, as we move into the age of Aquarius, which is going to be intensified because of the Pluto placements that are taking place right now, from now until 2044, ironically, and in Gematria, no, not even Gematria, yes, in Gematria, Aquarius is 44. The number of Aquarius is 44. So the entire age of Aquarius is 44 resonating, right? Hence the fact, once again, that we are looking at Meg Thee Stallion, who is a prototypical, perfect example of Aquarius. A woman who has the name of a man. That's Aquarian. That's what that energy represents. Right? As we move into this period, especially supported by this Pluto energy, we are going to see the destruction of religion and religious organizations and institutions. And once the Vatican falls, nigga, what you think? You think that Mecca's not going with it? And this is no disrespect to my brothers and sisters that are in Islam, right? But Mecca itself is being run, Saudi Arabia, by the crown prince. Them niggas is haram. You need to get your religion back. Even to you Christians, you need to get your religion back in the name of Christ. These people have disrespected the sanctified station of the Holy Tabernacle, right? And you should go to war against these institutions as well to get the motherfucking sanctity of these, these spiritual figures who you follow. You need to get it back because they doing them dirty. They've been doing them dirty, right? And Islam is no different. You need to get it back. We ain't even going to talk about Judaism. Y'all niggas been supposed to have to get that back. But you can't do none of this shit without understanding the esoteric occult aspects of what these institutions represent, because it is not a physical fight, and it's not a fight for surface dwellers. Like, you can't just be into the surface aspect of these religions and think you know a goddamn thing about them, because that's what they feed the sheep. That's what they call, this is profane information, right? You have to be part of the arcane or the inner sanctum to really understand how this shit moves or what it's about. Better have some fucking magic under your belt, or you through. Yeah, Janelle Monáe, I just can't, That the pansexual, that's Aquarian. Janelle Monáe, that's Aquarian. You feel me? And don't get puritanical on me when I say go to war against the institutions of the people that's within your institution that are pump faking, right? Because Muslims go to war with Muslims every day. It's happening right now, nigga. What you think is taking place in Syria? They getting bombed the fuck to the Stone Ages by other Muslims. What you think is taking place in Afghanistan? What you think is taking place in Iraq? These niggas fight each other all day, every day. But you don't have the wherewithal within you to say, yo, I got to get these niggas up out of the way. You feel me? But have you some dope on the Philadelphia block? Nah. Have you some dope in Washington, D.C., and them Sunnis gonna motherfucking cut your head off, nigga, to put they dope on that block. That's a whole nother conversation we're not gonna get into. Anyway. And I'm not advocating violence. I'm talking about spiritual warfare. I'm talking about spiritual, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that stuff. I'm not advocating violence. But they're not even I can't even share. I can't even share no more pictures. I can't get to no more pictures. So, I don't know. I guess we just gonna probably leave it here. Yeah. Again, I'm not advocating violence. But niggas is hella violent with one another anyway on a daily. You feel me? Especially in these cities that are heavily concentrated with these different religious denominations. You know, my Muslim brothers, I can speak on, because we just got to point shit out and you can see it for what it is. I ain't making none of this up. You know what I'm saying? Just pointing it out, since you can't, just helping you put together the pieces. You might see things compartmentalized and separated. It's like, no, this is a whole picture. It's a tapestry, but you focusing on the wrong things. You know what I mean? And Catholicism and Islam and Judaism, all three of them have been very aggressive in terms of how they proselytize around the planet, bringing religions of peace to people at the tip of a sword and the barrel of a gun. This is the historical record of all of religions that come in the facade of peace. They all come in the name of war under the facade of the cover of peace. So I'm not telling you nothing that you don't know. I'm not making anything up. You dig what I'm saying? This is how they bang. So it's not with it's not outside of the confines of the energy that they've been given. I'm just saying, like, when are they going to redirect that shit to get back what is rightfully theirs? You feel me? If my God don't look like me, you can have that shit. Take that shit back. Fuck you and fuck him. That's how I'm on it. You're not going to continue to disrespect my conscience by continuously telling me that I was made in the image of my creator, but not me, them. Nah, I'm not going for that bullshit. I ain't going for no motherfucking God that comes to people in the deserts before he comes to people in the jungle. I ain't going for that. You can't tell me that God comes someplace where the fucking land is barren and he skips over where life exists. I'm not going for that. Fuck you, fuck them, and fuck him if that's the case. Feel me? And get on my Clash of the Titans shit. And we take them all to war. If that's the case. Because that leads to a psychological neurosis that you can never heal from. If you believe that God ain't you, or don't look like you, or didn't come to you or your people, or you was not worthy, then we just going to have more of what's already been implemented on us, where people can't see themselves in the mirror when they're looking at themselves because you feel like you less than or you not worthy because you got a picture of a white Jesus on the wall. I ain't going for it. And neither should you. Right? Neither should you as we move into this 7 year and this God year. You are it. If it was ever it, it has to be you. And that's whoever you are. So you can even be listening to this somewhere and you're a Caucasian. Then your God better look like you. But on God, you should not go around the rest of the planet attempting to force that on other people. That's a personal relationship between you and your creator. And it's meant to edify you and your family for where you at and for what you need to do. But leave my people out of it. Leave my people out of it. Feel me? Leave my people out of it. Because lies you will tell. Because history does not support your narrative. Science does not support your narrative. Mythology does not support your narrative. Common sense does not support your narrative. Right? Only oppression and suppression supports your narrative. The fact that you have beat it into my people and left them no fucking choice and no voice. Have we had to acquiesce to a lie and live with it for so long that it's make us sick? And the body politics of our people is failing. The body is dying and is eating itself. The body of Christ has autoimmune deficiency. It is eating itself because it can no longer see itself for who it is. So it's attacking itself. So if we want to get these babies back, right? If we want to restore the relationship between our ladies, rather than some other niggas coming around telling you how to motherfucking make women submit, nigga. We got to get this God shit together first and foremost. Top down, not bottom up. Top down, not bottom up. We got to restore the balance. And that's what men do. So before you can tell me any motherfucking thing about love, nigga, ma'at first. And replace those words with whatever you choose to. Balance and reciprocity, right? Trust. Appreciation. Feel me? Those things, those are the legs upon which you need to stand first before you can activate this Godhead of yours that you say where love emanates from. Nobody who loves themselves would allow this shit to persist. They would stop every motherfucking thing that they're doing and go outside and get this shit together first and foremost, because you can't tell that woman that you love her. You can't tell that baby that you love them if you can't protect them. Right? You're lying to yourself. And that's why you are eating yourself, because your cells are listening to you saying, oh, that's cap. I don't believe you. You need more people. Why? Because at the same time, I could feel fear coming from your hearts. How you gonna tell this woman that you love her, nigga, and you living in fear? Those two things don't coincide. Get your fucking life together first. Sacrifice something. Get out here on some avatar shit like a man and go and fight. And then you could come home and prove to her. Stop telling people shit that you can't prove, nigga, because you're killing yourself. Your body is going against itself because it don't believe you. And the math ain't mathing. You can't have peace without war. You can't have love with fear. And you can't have light without darkness. Okay? Those are things that are earned through time. That's not how you wake up. That's not how you wake up. And we're skipping too many steps. And we're using catechisms and fancy fucking praises to finesse people and finesse ourselves. But guess what? Yourself ain't buying it no more. Yourself is rebelling. Yourself is exposing you. So it's days like this where, yeah, I celebrate and I praise, I praise what I see, because we need to get these institutions out of the way so that we can see ourselves and we can breathe, and the planet can breathe. Mama Nature can breathe. She can finally get a motherfucking exhale in. God damn. Whew. I was holding my breath all of this long as this motherfucker had his foot on my neck. Because these institutions rival nature, and they rival the woman, and they castigate both of them with the term the devil. Because originally, before this was a peace-loving light planet, all of the legends will tell you, we could even look at it. If light takes 8 minutes to reach here, then this planet has always been engulfed in darkness first. Yaldabaoth and them existed here. Even the Bible told you that the devil and his 33% of angels was cast here first. So this shit has never been pretty as they attempt to package it and present it to you. But the castigation of the quote-unquote devil, who is a Sethian, Typhonian principle, this pre-Diluvian and pre-dynastic, right? It dealt with the fact that nature's untamed, a woman's untamed. So they created this symbolism of it, and they called it, oh, that's the devil, or that's Pan in them. That's all that shit means. Nature cannot be motherfucking domesticated and brought under control, and neither can a woman. And that's the same conversation that these niggas is out here having now. And that's the same conversation that a motherfucking, a fragile motherfuckers running around here telling these young men, and they talking about this is the best thing since sliced bread. And this nigga's pushing religion on the planet. A lopsided version at that. Not even understanding the metrics and the rules at play. Talking about he's exposing the elite. How, Sway? He's doing the job of the elite. Fuck out of here. Y'all don't even understand the Hegelian dialect of what's taking place. The controlled opposition. This shit is silly. This nigga's insecure as a man. Fuck that nigga. Man, I'm out of here, man. Fuck this shit. I go take a spiritual bath and all of that, man. Because I said that I wasn't going to get into, I said I wasn't going to get all turned up, and here I go. Here I go. There I go. I gotta take a long bath. Y'all can hit that Cash App, because this shit will not be monetized. Trust me. And if they allow these videos to get up on Instagram, I'm going to give you some footage or some backstory when we were at the St. Louis Cathedral in New Orleans doing our rituals at 8:44 in the morning on July 3rd when Sirius was rising, and I did my fiery sermon and the Archbishop came out and I burnt his ass too. And then when we came back to Georgia, the goddamn Godstones fell down. Now, I didn't do it, right? But those trillions of spirits that we freed up in New Orleans, where they was like, talk your shit, nigga. Nobody ever came over here and did that shit. Yeah, we've been running with them ever since. And shit been shaking up. And when we got on that mountain, we said the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican getting exposed, ain't nothing been the same since. And you've been seeing this shit for what it is. I've been showing you articles every day. And all I'm saying is, where's the fucking lies at? I don't want to be your leader, goddammit. I want you to lead yourself. I want you to step outside of fear and know that you're worthy. You feel me? Yeah, it takes some practice. You got to be dedicated first. I used to go to the obelisk in Central Park and tell my ancestors, use me as a fulcrum, right? Use me as a fulcrum for all-out motherfucking warfare on spiritual planes against these principalities that have suppressed my people. I offered myself up to do the work. So you got to make a declaration and a proclamation. You got to stand on that shit and understand it comes with sacrifices. And you may motherfucking have, you can ultimately end up sacrificing your life at the end of the day. But that's a price that you got to be willing to pay if you want to turn the tide, especially in spiritual warfare. This is no game, right? And it's not about financial gain. You're not going to get rich doing this shit. No pun intended. Anyway, that's all I got right now. I love y'all. I was trying to say peace, love, and light. Fuck that shit. Truth, yeah. I mean, just leave it on that note. Truth. Peace.